India and Pakistan have a lot in common. Much of Pakistan and part of India were part of the Indus Valley Civilization, one of the world's oldest advanced civilizations. They both used to be part of British India until the British partitioned the country when they ended their colonial rule, and both countries are incredibly diverse, with many ethnicities and languages, and in many cases, people of the same ethnicity and language are present in both countries. For example, the Punjab region, with its Punjabi ethnicity and language, spans the border of both countries. While there are many similarities between these brother countries, there are also some important differences. Number 1. An obvious difference between India and Pakistan is their size. India has a total area of almost 3.3 million square kilometers, while Pakistan has a total area of about 796,000 square kilometers. That makes India a little more than 4 times the size of Pakistan. In terms of population, India has close to 6 times as many people, almost 1.38 billion in 2022, versus Pakistan's 243 million. That's not exactly small, of course. Pakistan is still the 5th most populous country in the world, while India is the 2nd most populous. Number 2. India and Pakistan have different majority religions. When the British partitioned India, they made India as a predominantly Hindu state, and Pakistan as a predominantly Muslim state, basing the borders on which areas had a Hindu majority and which areas had a Muslim majority. But there were also many people who became refugees and fled to the country where their religion would be the majority. So India is more overwhelmingly Hindu than it was before partition, around 80% Hindu, and Muslims are 14.2%. Pakistan is 96.5% Muslim and a little over 2% Hindu. In terms of government, India is a secular state according to its constitution, while Pakistan is an Islamic republic. Speaking of government, number 3, India is a more stable democracy than Pakistan. Both countries are considered democratic in the general sense that their governments and legislators are elected by the people in, theoretically, free and fair elections. But while India has had an uninterrupted progression of elected prime ministers since independence, Pakistan has undergone 3 periods of military dictatorship, totaling around 33 years of its history, as well as several other coup attempts. And even during times of civilian rule, Pakistan's military and intelligence services have exerted power over the country's security policy and foreign policy, even though they're not elected, of course. This heavy influence of the military limits the power of the country's elected representatives. Number 4. India is a wealthier country than Pakistan. While both countries are considered developing countries, India has a much bigger economy than Pakistan's overall, with an estimated nominal GDP of 3.469 trillion, versus Pakistan's 376.5 billion. So India's economy is about 9 times as large. But we get a better idea about the standard of living in either country by looking at GDP per capita adjusted for purchasing power parity. In 2022, in India it was an estimated $8,293 versus $6,662 in Pakistan. That basically means that India has a somewhat higher standard of living than Pakistan. It's not quite that simple, but it's a basic indicator. Number 5. India has a more powerful military than Pakistan. India's military spending was $76.6 billion in 2021, while Pakistan's was $11.3 billion. India has 1.45 million active personnel, more than double Pakistan's 640,000 active personnel. India has 57% more aircraft than Pakistan, 63% more tanks, and a naval fleet of 295 vessels, including 1 aircraft carrier, while Pakistan has 114 vessels and no aircraft carrier. So India's fleet is more than 2.5 times the size of Pakistan's. Both countries are estimated to have in the range of around 100 nuclear weapons, so when it comes right down to it, both countries could destroy each other. So all I'm saying is, give peace a chance. Number 6. Different views on the Kashmir conflict. One of the sources of conflict between India and Pakistan is their differing views on the Kashmir region and which country it's a part of. When British India was partitioned, the princely state of Jammu and Kashmir was free to join either India or Pakistan. But in response to an invasion of tribal militias from Pakistan, its Hindu leader chose to join India. But Pakistan rejected this as illegitimate because of Jammu and Kashmir's Muslim majority, and it sparked the first of several wars between India and Pakistan over the region. Both countries currently control parts of the region, and so does China. India claims all of the territory, and Pakistan recently said that it wants the people of the region to choose. But I'm pretty sure they want them to choose Pakistan, and will go to great lengths to make them do so. Number 7. India and Pakistan have different official languages. Well, kind of. On this point, India and Pakistan are both similar and different. The official languages of India at the national level are Hindi and English. Okay, let's pause for a second because I know people are going to say, no, India has 22 official languages, but those 22 languages are called scheduled languages and have a different status. According to the Constitution of India, only Hindi and English are official languages at the national level. But India has no national language. A national language is a language that symbolically represents the whole nation. The official languages of Pakistan at the national level are Urdu and English, and Urdu is the national language. So both India and Pakistan have English as one of their official languages, stemming from their days under British colonial rule. Hindi and Urdu are different languages. Kind of. Linguists often consider both Hindi and Urdu to be part of a single language they call Hindustani. Hindustani is a pluricentric language, meaning that it has different standardized forms. Written and formal Urdu and written and formal Hindi are fairly different, using different scripts, and with Urdu getting much of its formal vocabulary from Persian and Arabic, and Hindi getting much of its formal vocabulary from Sanskrit. But in everyday speech, they're much more similar, and close enough that many consider them the same language. Of course, many people on either side will disagree, but at the very least, Hindi and Urdu are very closely related. In Pakistan, basically everyone can speak the national language Urdu, even though it's often their second language. In India, though, there are many people who don't speak Hindi. And that brings me to number 8. India has a large Dravidian population that Pakistan doesn't have. Northern India is dominated by the Indo-Aryan languages, including Hindi, Bengali, Punjabi, and others. Southern India is dominated by an entirely unrelated language family, the Dravidian languages, which include Tamil, Telugu, Kannada, Malayalam, and others. They're spoken by approximately 20% of Indians. Pakistan is more culturally and linguistically connected to northern India and doesn't have the same north-south distinction. There's one Dravidian language spoken in Pakistan, Brahui, but it's spoken by just over 1% of the population. Pakistan is dominated by Indo-Aryan languages in the east and by Iranian languages in the west, part of the larger Indo-Iranian branch of the Indo-European language family. This includes Pashto, which is also spoken in Afghanistan, and Balochi, which is spoken in the Balochistan region, which spans western Pakistan, southeastern Iran, and southwestern Afghanistan. In addition to southern India with its distinct language family, northeastern India is also home to many non-Indo-Iranian languages that are not native to Pakistan. This includes Tibeto-Burman languages like Bodo and Manipuri, and Santali, an Austroasiatic language related to Vietnamese and Khmer. So India is more linguistically diverse than Pakistan, where mainly Indo-Iranian languages are spoken. India and Pakistan are clearly sibling countries that share a common history and, to a large extent, a cultural and linguistic heritage. If history had unfolded slightly differently, they very well may have remained a single country today. If you're from India or Pakistan, do you agree with the differences I've talked about in the video? What other similarities or differences would you like others to know about the two countries? Pakistan is an overwhelmingly Muslim country, and India has a large Muslim minority. I talk more about both countries in this video covering the top 10 most populous Muslim countries. I guarantee you'll find it very interesting.